Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Shonen and Chill, hosted by Zenrotto and Asaratha.
I love reading manga. So much fun. I have such a fun time reading manga. It makes me so happy.
All right, so we're gonna try out the new format a little bit still.
Couple tweaks, right?
Yeah, so we keep tweaking a little bit
Yeah.
because there was a lot of positive feedback last week in the comments. There was a lot of suggestions.
There were some
Um,
very valid concerns because,
yes, absolutely.
everyone knows that MHA is not making our top three, but they still want to hear about MHA, so
Yes, people still want to. The
yeah.
people have things that the people want to hear,
Yes, yes.
and we have to give the people what they want. All right, so the way that we're going to do this episode, just so people know, we're going to talk about our top three chapters of the week. We're going to include Jujutsu Kaisen and My Hero Academia every week, regardless of whether we like. Well, every episode, because it's not every week anymore; it's every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Every episode, we're going to include Jujutsu Kaisen and My Hero Academia regardless, because the people have spoken and they want to know what we think about those things.
hmm
And then if any other chapter stands out to us throughout the week, we will also talk about that before we get into
hmm
just, shooting the shit at the end. Um, just got us demonetized right there. It's only been a minute and a half and I already cursed.
Zen,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. The 38 cents that we were going to make off this
come
episode
on,
is is
dude.
is in the gutter.
My
Um,
cat is gonna starve to death.
you got the downgrade from Fancy Feast. Um, so yeah, that's what we're gonna try it this time.
Yeah,
That's how we're gonna, we'll tweak it some more. Feel free to keep leaving feedback as we
yeah.
try to find a good new balance. Because I don't think talking about, you know, Akane Banashi for 12 seconds every week was
Yippee! That
sustainable much
that one
longer.
dude who gets to the Akane section, he's like, "Yippee!" and it's over. And he's like,
Yeah,
"Oh
yeah, I
man."
know. I feel bad for that guy. That guy was waiting the whole time to hear us talking about Akane. And all we
Yeah,
say is, that sure exists.
that was a chapter of Akane Banashi,
Hmm.
serialized in Weekly Shonen Jump, published by Shueisha.
All right, let's hear them. What's your top three chapters this week?
I'm not gonna lie to you, it's the same exact thing as yours.
Is it?
Like that's
Okay.
1-1. It's 1-1.
Yeah, all right, yeah. So mine, my number my number three is Undead Unluck, number two, Chainsaw Man, number one, Kagurabachi, the goat, Kagurabachi sweep.
Yeah,
Uh,
my only difference is Undead Unluck is 2.
okay,
That's it.
that's fair enough. Um, so all right, we'll go into let's do MHA and Jujutsu Kaisen first. Then we'll do the
Jeez.
newbies because we are going to talk
Okay.
about Shadow Eliminators and Green
Yeah.
Greens. Um,
Yeah.
and then
It's a
we
great
will.
name.
Actually, I like that name. I legitimately Shadow Eliminators is a terrible name. That name
That's a
sucks.
terrible
Name
name. That sounds
fucking
like Sorcery
sucks.
Fight.
So, Shadow Eliminators sounds like someone was trying to think of like Demon Slayer is really popular. What do I call my thing? Uh, Bad guy killer. Like, dude, shut up.
Can we can we start calling our like JJK? Can we start calling JJK Sorcery Fight, please?
Sorcery fight. Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Uh, but
Put that.
Green Greens, that's a good name, dude.
Yeah,
That's that
let's let's
that's there's soul in that name.
let's not do that. But in the timestamps, can you please mark it as Sorcery Fight just this once?
All right, I can do that.
Thank you.
All right, so we'll start with My Hero.
It was alright. I mean,
It
I think the All for One backstory stuff wasn't bad. I don't think any of it's gonna fix All for One being probably like one of the worst antagonists in Weekly Shonen Jump, but it was okay. I have to say that the parallel between Kudo and Bakugo has probably got to be like the most forced thing I've ever read. It's really rough.
Yeah, I
Uh,
don't really get that other than just like he's the one for all users' best friend with the same haircut.
yeah,
That's like
and
it.
his eyes kind of look the same.
Sorta, but that's just because
The
every character with anime
the
eyes looks the same.
the entire time I was like, oh, All for One is mad because someone without One for All is standing up to him like this. But then that's not what it was, and instead it was like, oh, he just looks like him. So okay, sure,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, I don't know. I don't really know what to make of that. I think the actual backstory bit was fine, even
Mhm.
pretty good.
Yeah,
Um,
it was enjoyable.
yeah, but you're right that it's being used in service of like the worst character, like
hmm
in the whole thing. Um, There were some highlights to this most recent chapter for me. The panel of All Might just fucking decking
Yeah,
this dude's head off is great.
yeah.
Literally
I
just punching
like.
him and his head explodes.
I think it would have been easy to assume that that was like damage accumulated throughout the entire course of the fight. No, All Might punched
Nah,
his head off.
he punched his head completely off. It's
Holy
amazing.
shit!
Um, a second thing that's a highlight of this is that Edgeworm is still alive and narrating
God,
what's happening. So he's officially in better condition than Ochako is after
he's
one knife
slipping
stab.
around, dude.
Yeah.
He's fucking slithering around. He's doing edge shot worm shit.
Edgeworming around on the rooftop with all. He's in better condition than All Might is right now, really.
I desperately need the epilogue where Deku and Ochako inevitably get married on any little edge worm to be in his little chair. He's got like even like a small chair, you know,
Yeah,
at the
he's
reception.
just gonna be the new principal of the school in the future. It's gonna be Edgeshot Worm.
Yes, dude. And Nezu dies off screen, and instead Edge
Yeah,
shot. He
yeah.
slithers into the chair,
He's
and
gonna
that's how it
show
gets
up in
announced.
a few chapters, and everyone's gonna be like, "Oh my God, it's Nezu," and then he's gonna get exploded by All for One, and then they're gonna keep going. Um, so let's talk a little bit about the weird translation at the end here. Um, so I
Oh,
don't know if you've been keeping up with that at all, but so at the
I'm.
end of the English version, Bakugo says, "Some genius I am. How am I supposed to beat that?" Which is the big, All for One blob.
Yeah.
Apparently, the original Japanese translation is vague on what he says here. And he could
Mm,
be saying either I can't win or I will win, one of the two. Because
mm,
apparently it's possible to write something in a way that it's completely contradictory to itself. And so, from what I've seen, every translation in different languages opts for a different version of it. Like the Spanish one, he
interesting.
says, "No problem, I'm totally gonna win this." In
Yeah.
the English one, he's like, "I'm fucking dead. I got nothing." So, I that's crazy to me that there's no like.
Yeah, Japanese is a really complex language, man.
But you'd think there'd be some guidance in that case. I guess I don't know how
Yeah.
translation works. And since they're
Yeah,
coming out like a few days after they hit shelves, I guess in
mhm.
in Japan, I guess they don't get a ton. But you'd think that in a situation where it's literally I don't know which one it means. It could be either one of a completely
Yeah.
opposite definitive statement. They would give a little bit of like guidance on which one he meant it for it to be, because now, as far as I can tell, like several different languages have a completely different understanding of what this is, of what's
As
happening right
far
now.
as I mean, given stuff like the old JJK translations and stuff, I wouldn't be surprised if they have access to literally nothing in
Yeah, I
terms
mean,
of
it might
guidance.
just literally be like read it and write down what
Yeah,
it
we
is.
didn't figure it out,
Like,
dumbass.
yeah, good luck,
That's
idiot.
what
Like,
that's
write that
that's
shit
what
down.
that's what that's what Mr. Jump says when he walks in. He's like, yeah, I'm not gonna help you. Figure it out, asshole. And then he just fucking leaves the office.
Yeah, he's just like, yeah, well, we pay you to know Japanese. I don't know Japanese.
Yeah.
It's
Um,
just weird. I don't know. I maybe that's happened in other places before. I'm sure it has.
it probably has
It's
to.
just such a specific because it's not just like a translation error. It's
Uh
that
huh.
we don't know who's right or wrong, and it could be any of them. Because I see a bunch of tweets from like Japanese fans that are like arguing over which one he's saying, and I'm like, that's insane to me.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's kind of hard to translate stuff from Japanese to English. Obviously, these people do their best, and sometimes there are things you just can't translate, and this might be one of those situations where there are so many interpretations. Clearly, there's so many interpretations of the text that you just can't really
Yeah, you just like can't.
get it. Yeah, getting a unified one. If I had to pick personally, I kind of like the one where he's like either like maybe a little sarcastic or like showing a little bit of humility of like, oh, how can I ever hope to defeat that? I kind of like that one.
If it's meant to be sarcasm, then yeah, that's fine with me. Like
Yeah.
it does feel weird for him to be like, "Oh God, I'm gonna die," like in real life,
Yeah, yeah,
you know?
yeah. He's like, oh,
Like,
I'm gonna die again.
oh God, I just got my heart back and I'm gonna fucking die. Um,
Let me
yeah,
start
but
sweating in my heart ahead of time.
Ed shots down there like, "Damn it, I don't have any more."
Dude, I'm gonna be a fucking centipede after this.
I'm gonna be a worm forever just for this kid to get blasted by whatever this thing is. Um, but I mean, it's
Bro,
fine. I'm really ready for All for
trust
One to be gone.
trust me, dude. They're gonna do a parallel to Deku and Eri, where like Deku had to destroy himself to use her power, and Bakugo's gonna keep killing himself, and Edshot's gonna keep reviving him.
Over and over again.
Yeah.
Another
No,
thing I don't
the
get
series.
is
Hmm.
is like they keep talking about how far All for One's gonna revert now, and it's like, why do any of your characters know this? Why does All Might know that doing this is gonna make him turn into a baby? All Might just doesn't know that.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm not really. I don't give a fuck about All for One. Like you said, when he's gone, the series will be better.
Yeah, I really need him to be gone so that Deku and Shigaraki can stop just like having the world's most intense staring contest.
They're going for the Guinness Book. I don't know if you heard. That's what they're doing.
I can get behind that reasoning. Um, yeah, it's not like bad. You know, I feel like they're on. It sounds like we're purely making fun of it. I don't think it was
I am.
terrible. Okay. Well, I think it was
It was fine.
acceptable at
It was fine. Yeah.
worst. Yeah, that's fine.
Cleared New Ways Exorcist.
Okay, well, I mean, listen, we'll get some more into that later on, but
Next month, 2 episodes from now, we'll get into that.
yeah, I don't know that I've ever hated. I don't want to get started because if I get started, I won't stop. So
Rein
we'll
yourself in,
just
buddy. All right, all right, big
yeah,
guy.
we'll just oh my God, bro, I fucking uh
JJK, right? That's. Oh, sorry, sorcery fight.
yes. All right, yeah. Let's move on to sorcery battle.
Yes.
So we got the Yuta chapter and then this most recent one. Both pretty good. I think they're pretty cool. The Yuta kill was
So
rad. That shit was banger.
I thought the talk about Kenjaku stuff was good. I thought it was fine. I enjoyed it. Better than anything that's happened in the past fucking like 6 months. Um, and then the Utah allegations. Um, that was hilarious. I'm not gonna lie to you. Twitter was very, very funny with almost exclusively Kashimo fans raging about Utah one-shotting Kenjaku.
Yeah, which was
The Venn
super
diagram
funny.
was a
Yeah,
circle.
you're right. It totally is.
Um, so much for there is no like there's no fairness in Jujutsu, right? Yeah, I guess unless you're Utah.
Yeah, well, listen. Yuta is Mr. Get Shit Done. All right?
Yeah.
Like, other people be doing things and just getting blasted. Not my boy. Not my man. My man
No,
Yuta says things, and then he does those things.
you're supposed to have a one-on-one battle with one of the most powerful people alive and just die. No, don't one-shot him.
You're supposed to have a one-on-one battle with one of the most powerful people alive while he has all of the
He's got
advantages in the world.
GPS on you.
He's got you GPS tagged
Yeah.
that he can plan for like a week while you try to get there.
Yeah.
No, you have to let him do that. Otherwise, you're the one that's cheating.
Also, he definitely speed blitzed Kenjaku because
Yes.
Kenjaku saw him, tried to react, and by the time he faced where Yuta was behind him and decapitated him.
Yes. I see people saying, "Oh, that's Toto's technique." No, it isn't. No, it's not.
I mean, it would be cool, but I don't think so. No.
It would be cool. It's not. The sound effect. Everyone's like, "Oh, the sound effect was like the sound of those wooden block thing." No, it's not. It's the sound of metal. It's just the sword sound. It's the sound effect is him cutting through Kenjaku's neck.
It's time
That's
to
what it is.
accept that Toto is irrelevant.
Toto
It's
is
okay.
gone. The series no longer wants to acknowledge that Toto exists.
Yes. Yes.
Let it be. Let it be.
It's time to move on, everyone.
It's time to move on. It would be cool if it was. It would be
Yeah, it
cool
would be.
because
It
that
would
would have
be.
been a neat little nod of like, oh shit, he's got Toto's technique. But also, he's holding a fucking sword in his hands. So how is he clapping his hands?
I remember I saw someone said that Rika clapped. And I was like,
Rika
man,
ain't even there.
I was like, we're really pushing it so that Yuta can't speed blitz Kenjaku, huh? Like, wow,
Rika clapped in the Shadow Realm. So that
we're
Yuta
really stretching this one.
We're trying so hard to downplay Yuta right now.
I don't know what else to say, man. He decapitated Kenjaku. Kashimo fans, what did your guy do? He just fucking died.
Just walked out there, got fucking eviscerated in 10 seconds.
He sucked, and then he sucked, and then that was the end.
Imagine fighting so hard for a guy whose only fight on screen has been like jobbers. Like, oh, he beat Panda. I think Panda is his only W on screen.
That's huge, bro. Trust.
He beat Panda. He lost to Hakari, who I still hold as fraudulent. And then he got just absolutely. His whole thing was like, oh, I have this amazing curse technique that's like so crazy that when I use it, I just die. And everyone was like, oh
Ass
my God,
beat.
what is. Everyone was like speculating, like, oh my God, what's it going to be? That shit was ass!
It
All
just
it
turned him into
did,
like a fucking fish, bro. He got fish lips and shit. He got his ass
yeah,
beat.
all it did was give him like claws. Like, dude. And I'm sure people are like, oh, actually, it did this. I don't care what it did because he didn't do anything with it. He, it,
Kashimo
Kashimo
really
sucks, dude.
sucked. He really
What
sucked.
what a shit character.
Like he was really bad.
Um, uh, you put this character in expressly for the purpose of fighting Sukuna. That's like all he talks about. That literally all he gives a shit about is, oh, I'm gonna fight Sukuna, or I'm the guy. I'm him. And then he doesn't fucking do anything. And then he finally
Like
gets a chance to fight Sukuna, and he gets destroyed in one chapter.
at least get him like a licking or something, bro. Like he just got his ass beat
Oh,
after like
he
Sukuna.
forced him to transform. No, Gojo did that.
That wasn't. I mean, if we go along the lines that he was holding the transform, waiting for reinforcements, it sounds like he would have done it anyway.
He would have
Like
done it
he just,
regardless. Yeah, anybody could have done that.
yeah.
Like,
As soon as fucking Higurama and Yuji popped up, he probably just would have transformed and be like, "Well, I'm gonna kill him now. I'm gonna kill you
yeah,
guys now."
dude, like, oh my God, what a useless character.
Very bad
Contributes
character.
absolutely zero to this story in any meaningful capacity.
You know, at the end of the day, he at least didn't make a binding vow that made it so he can never swing a katana
Okay, you're
again.
right. Yes, you're right. Miwa is the worst character in anything ever.
That is genuinely insane.
Have you seen the fan theory that Kenjaku is in Miwa now?
He can do better than that.
Oh, hey, God knows. But the idea that that was a binding vow, and the only power that it gave her was that he could still catch and break her sword barehanded.
That's like we gotta have a talk with Gege and like his experiences with women because this is not looking good.
It's crazy, dude. Like, oh my God. Also,
So
it's really funny that Kamo is like, I'm not doing this, bro.
yeah,
I
yeah,
respect it. I'm not gonna lie.
he's kind of real. Yeah, he's like,
Yeah,
yeah, fuck this, man.
the dude, like, he looks divorced. He's sitting there in a sweater. That's all he's got on. He's got clothes on and he's got a sweater, so he's probably wearing like, the depression sweater, where like
Yeah,
you don't want to take a shower because you're depressed. So you just put a sweater on and hope that nobody can smell it through the fucking layer that you're wearing.
okay, so
Uh,
I've personally done that, but I understand the intent.
that's the depression, and he's just like, I'm out of here, bro. I'm gonna take my family that hates me and run to another country. And everyone's like, yeah, no, bet.
I like the setup for the fight against Sukuna though. I mean, it's something we expected. I obviously I think we all expected Higurama to put him on trial, but it's cool. I like the setup.
Yeah, he's that smirk at the end ain't making me too confident. He's got some shenanigans, I'm sure. I mean, we know
if
it's not gonna work because Sukuna can't lose right here.
yes, if Sukuna somehow beats the allegations, this might be like the one of the worst arcs I've ever read.
Beats the alligator. Dude, it's gonna. What's the one meme that was like Maharaga is gonna adapt to
Yeah, Maharaga's
the
gonna
Japanese
adapt to the
legal
fucking yeah.
system? Yeah.
Yeah. I like if Sukuna fucking if I see Sukuna doing like the Snoop Dogg pose after he fucking beats the charges and shit, like I don't know what I'm supposed to think about this manga anymore.
Yeah, I just don't like. It's it's weird because we know that it's not gonna work, right? Like Higuruma's not gonna
Yeah.
get the insta kill sword and just kill him immediately. Like that's not gonna
That'd be
happen.
cool though, dude.
I
That'd be
actually do think that would be kind of cool if the series is just over. He just couldn't
yeah.
beat the allegations.
Geto is fucking dead, or sorry, not Geto. Kenjaku is dead, and then Sukuna just gets killed, and that's
Just get
that's
and
it.
then it just ends right here. Yeah, with Phoenix Wright style. Um, Yuji's plan seems bad, just like on paper. It doesn't
Yeah.
seem very good. Um, Also, hasn't Sukuna seen this domain already? Because he was inside Yuji
Technically, yeah.
when it happened the first time.
Yeah.
So he already knows all the rules. So I'm sure that because this dude is like the most plot armored invincible villain I've ever seen in my entire life, he's just gonna bust out like two briefcases because he has so many arms, he carries more than one, and he's just gonna open them shits up and be like, "Actually, Your Honor," and the judge is like, "You're right, you're completely right. I totally get it." I don't know. Also, Yuji just has like Piccolo's arms now. That's all that's happening. That's just Piccolo's arms, and he has like a shark fin on his arm.
Yeah. His new
They,
technique is to punch even harder than before and faster.
yeah, well, they implied he had blood manipulation in this chapter
Mm.
because
Yeah,
Kamo, he was
yeah,
like, "Thanks for teaching me, Kamo," because Chozo can't teach for shit because he's an idiot.
yeah.
Uh, they both that implies to me he has blood manipulation now.
Yeah, really gonna blue ball is what Yuji's got cooking, huh?
Yeah, he just drops down and he just punches good again with a shark fin arm, and then that's it.
I mean, it looks cool.
It does look cool. I like it. I like his shark fin arm.
You see, like, punching and kicking isn't, like, inherently a bad thing. Like, when I watch that shit done in the anime, it's so cool.
No,
Like, I
like
don't know if you
I
saw the
think
recent
martial
episode.
arts is good as a main character
Yeah.
ability.
I don't know if you did
Um,
you see the latest episode where he fought Mahito?
I saw the one that everyone clipped a million times where he beats the ever
Yes.
loving shit out of him. Yeah,
Yes. So, like,
yeah.
it can be done well. I don't know if it's translated as well in the manga, obviously.
It used to be better. Like I think the fisticuffs
Mhm.
in this chapter were pretty terrible.
Chozo.
It was just a little punchies. Um,
Yeah.
but like the problem is that there's so many characters in this series that do punch kicky and they would do it better than him. So he
Yeah.
has nothing to differentiate him. And not only do they do it better than him, but they also have other stuff that makes them unique that he doesn't have. So hopefully
Like
that's
Yuta.
what this is. Yeah, like Yuta can punch kick good, but also he's got a curse technique. Like Gojo can punch kick good, but also he's got a
Yeah.
curse technique. Maki's got the crazy sword.
Yeah.
So like I'm hoping that we start seeing some powers from Yuji here that makes
I
him unique
still
in his
I
own
still can't
universe.
believe I still can't believe we haven't seen Yuta's domain.
I mean, did you, speaking of, did you see that they made Hanami's finally?
Wait, what?
They finally made Hanami's domain. They put it in the fucking video game.
Are you serious?
Yeah, the domain that they never showed because she got distracted when Gojo broke the veil and she ran away and never did it. They
Wow.
put it in the video game.
I didn't
It's
know we're on
just a
that
big
fucking
laser beam.
I didn't know we're on that fucking ReZero Demon Hours, bro, where we put
Yeah, yeah.
information in video games and shit.
We put the plot, the lore in the video game.
That's crazy.
Yeah, yeah, it's wild. But no, back on the subject of Yuta. We don't really get to see him fight that much,
Yeah, I
which is
know.
crazy because he's like the guy now.
Yeah, he is the last one stand. I mean, he speed blitzed Kenjaku. It was cool. Um, I'm hoping that. I mean, obviously, KK knows that we want to see his damn domain, so we'll probably see it eventually.
But like, who's left to fight with it, though?
I don't know, fucking himself, his demons.
Is Kenjaku again? Because Kenjaku's probably coming back. Like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Either he's coming back because like the brain is still in the head, or someone else is gonna get like possessed similarly to
Yeah,
with like his curse or whatever, and I'm sure they'll fight
yeah,
that.
yeah. I remember you were like, so like, what's the point of Geto's body now? And then I read the leaks of Kenjaku getting his head chopped off, and I was like, well, apparently nothing. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's fine narratively. It's fine. Him and
yeah, yeah,
Gojo
yeah,
are dead again on the same day. Like, fine.
yeah.
Um,
Um, it's I would be interested to see who is next, though.
yeah, I feel like there's the rest of the series can't just be fighting Sukuna in this fucking city
Can you
now, right?
imagine like fucking 50 chapters of fighting Suguna?
Yeah, it's just gonna be like another 65 chapters of everyone else taking turns in a line fighting Sukuna. Like, it can't be.
Don't
Uh,
jump him. We have to fight him 1v1 honorably.
well, at least they're jumping him now. Also,
Yeah,
what is Hakari doing? Is he just still fighting Orome?
yeah, off screen.
Who gives a shit about that fight? I guess we're not seeing it, but
Hey,
like
there are 15 Hakari fans carried by the dancing gift that would love to see that
that's
fire now.
true. That's true.
No, I don't give a shit. I don't want to go back to Hikari. I really don't care, man.
Yeah,
Hikari is
I
not
don't
my
know.
favorite, as many
There's a
people
lot
are
of
have
moving
known.
pieces going on right now, and I only care about like 3 of them. So we're treading a serious tightrope right now.
I want you to just like find someone random and just start fighting them. Just I don't even know who it is. Just
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 some
start
guy,
beating someone's
just
ass.
some dude, and you're just like, fuck this guy.
Yeah, I just need him to do something like else. I want to see him fight more. Cause that fight in Culling Games, dude, that was so cool.
That was the best fight in the Culling games, in my opinion.
I agree. I
Was
agree.
Yuta fighting those guys? That shit was
Well,
sick.
I bounced between that and Yuji and Higurama because I thought that was really good.
Yeah, I think Yuji and Higuruma is better, like from a narrative perspective, like of like
Hmm.
the story. But
Hmm.
the, Yuta fighting all those dudes at the same time was just too sick. Too
I
much
know.
raw shit happening all at the same time.
And Yuta was trying not to kill them, right?
Yeah,
If I
he's
recall,
because
yeah.
he can't kill them because he needs them to hand
Yeah,
their
yeah.
points over.
Because I remember a lot of people use that to downplay because like he wasn't just obliterating them, was because he's not trying to kill them, dude. This is the Yuta glazing section, by the way.
Yeah, well, that's every Jujutsu Kaisen section because he's the best character.
I like him.
Yeah, he's
Makes
great.
me happy, makes me smile.
But that's all I got for Jujutsu Kaisen. So if you're good, we can jump into.
Yeah.
Do we want to talk about our
Let's talk
top threes
about
first, or do we want to talk about the new series first, so that we're not doing that right at the end when we're like, oh my god, who cares about these?
let's talk about the new series.
Okay,
You're right.
so then let's talk about Green Greens first.
I I don't mean any offense to the material when I say this, but I cannot imagine a more resident sleeper experience for me than reading about golf. However,
Yeah,
this was fun.
man, I don't think the characters are bad. I like the
I
guy.
liked the character work. I thought it was
Yeah.
good.
Um, I think they're interesting. Like I like their dynamic where she's like the perfectionist and he's kind of like a
Yeah.
naturally talented, but he doesn't care about
Yeah.
anything. And he's like weirded out by having a passion for the first time. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I thought it was cool, man. Like, the teenage stress, we've talked about this a couple times. The teenage stress of, finding a life direction so early and then the denial he experiences over wanting to be good at something like this and then the conflict of why bother when I know I won't be the best. It's
Yeah,
cool,
like
man.
I can't be better than everyone, so why would I do it at all? Because like it's
Yeah,
impossible to like make a name for yourself.
I
Um,
think it's massively beneficial that we have not hyper focused on golf bullshit.
yes, yes. I'm glad that we did spend a little bit of time with it because like in a sports manga you have to have the
Yes,
sport
of
in it.
course.
Um, but they spend a ton of time focusing on the guy kind of growing into actually being passionate about improving at something,
Yeah,
which I thought
yeah.
was a good thing to focus on. Also, the art's pretty good. I like it. In the
Yeah, I thought it
pilot,
was good.
the motion of the first hit where she
Hmm.
cracks that first golf ball is pretty good.
Hmm.
It looks very nice. It's a lot of really good. I like the page turn as well, where it's
Yeah,
like water. It looks like she's hitting it, and then it cuts to like the massive smack all the way out to the outside of the ring.
yeah.
Pretty good flow there. Pretty good weight.
I didn't dislike it nearly as much as I thought I would when I heard I was going to a fucking golf manga. So I mean, like that's
Yeah, well, I mean, we read the figure skating manga for a while, so like, um,
yeah. Well, I don't know. I think I have a natural predisposition against against golf.
well, I feel like everyone kind of like, unless you're like 65,
I see
white
how
and
much
well-to-do,
land is
like,
taken by a. I see how much land is taken by a golf course, and I feel like a primal rage inside of me.
yeah, like you become like overwhelmed with fury, so that like six
Yeah,
rich people can be mediocre at this sport.
yeah,
Yeah, definitely. But it this series doesn't like do anything crazy. It's not one of those sports manga that's like golf, the pinnacle of the human experience, like some of them shits do.
Which is
Um,
probably why I enjoyed so much that it didn't focus on golf that much because I would have
yeah,
fallen asleep in my chair and we wouldn't be recording this episode right now because I'd
yeah.
still be passed out.
But the character stuff was good.
Yeah.
I'm not like violently excited to read it more of
No,
it.
it is a
I
manga. It's
will.
fine.
I'm gonna read it every week. It hasn't lost me or anything, but it's fine.
Yeah.
All right.
Now, should we talk about the best magazine or the best manga in the magazine, Shadow Eliminators?
Yeah, Shadow Eliminators, which is the worst name I
So,
can think of, really.
my thoughts on this series are that I feel like I've read this series before.
Yeah, as I was reading it, I was like, oh, this is Demon Slayer. Oh, this is Shaman King. Oh, this is Yu Yu Hakusho. Oh, this
I
is like,
didn't. I don't think it's bad. Like I don't hate it. It's just, eh, it's okay.
yeah, it's not bad. It's like it's fine. It's
Yeah,
very average.
feels like
Um,
every Exorcist manga ever made. But yeah,
yes, the problem with being very average when you're working in something where like everyone does this is
yeah,
that like if you're just average, then you kind of become boring and mediocre because like
yeah.
again, everyone does this. So what's setting you apart as an Exorcist series? Like it's not
Hmm.
technically demons or whatever. It's like some kind of unique thing that he made up for this, which is just
Hmm.
demons. Um, but like it's not bad. It's not offensive. It's just nothing special, and I, by virtue of being nothing special, it's hard for me to care.
I don't have. I don't have. Sorry, let me rephrase. I don't see a bright future for Shadow Eliminators or
No,
GGG.
no. Green Greens, I almost feel like might do better, just strictly because it's not like the same thing.
I don't know, man. People in Japan do fuck with them Exorcist manga like crazy.
Tell that to
Still, it
Phantom
seems.
Seer. That's all I'm saying. Tell that to
Never read it,
Phantom
dude.
Seer.
I never
It,
read it, so how good could it be?
all I know is it got absolutely blasted, and it's basically this series, but it prettier and more interesting.
Mm,
Um, so we'll see. I do like the concept of the club thing that they make at the end. That's like a kind of a neat little twist to it.
yeah.
Because like these series, especially at the beginning, are almost always like, uh-oh, time to investigate today's paranormal report that someone ran up to me in the hallway and told me about. Like there's just nothing to it other than just like it's Monster of the Week time.
Yeah.
So the premise of like we're gonna make a school club where people can come and like tell us about their problem is at least like kind of an interesting
Hmm. Hmm.
segue. Um, the Shadow Eliminators Club still a bad name, still a bad name.
It's not ideal. The two that's out of the two new ones, GGG is clearly the top.
I
Um,
much prefer it as well. Eh,
yes.
I don't want to call down the axe on the first two chapters of either of these things. Um, we'll see what happens with it. I'm not
Yeah.
super invested in either one, but I do I
Hmm.
enjoy Greens more as an experience than the other two.
Yeah.
All right, so now we've got top three territory time. First one is Undead Unluck.
Reading this like ramen shit has reminded me of the first chapter of the series where those dudes who were set to kill Fuko say that a power like hers is only used to kill. And I feel like not just this arc, there's been other stuff too, but like a lot of these recent portions have kind of been highlighting how negation powers can actually be used for something other than or like something greater than killing.
Yeah,
And these
yeah
chapters exemplified that really well because of how all the powers interacted to make fucking ramen.
yeah, and I think that like the little bit about how they obviously lose the contest, but because they kind of made this dish with him in mind that shows like
Hmm.
the way that they care about everybody else is very
Hmm.
cute. And it was a nice
It's good.
break. I was kind of right that like we needed a little bit of a break after that whole sick thing. We didn't need to jump into like the next big battle.
Yeah.
Um,
Make some fucking ramen, bro.
yeah, it was a cute little just make some ramen with this silly guy. I like this
And
silly
now we're gonna
guy.
go to the sun.
Yeah, and now it's time to go back to the sun. Like we needed the
Yeah.
detour.
I loved
It's just like oh
his
when
face
she
when she
tells him
was
that.
like, we have to go get my partner for the sun," and he was like, You were like dead ass about that shit.
Yeah, you were like, oh, you're serious. Yeah, no,
Like we're actually okay. I guess
yeah,
we'll go.
I'm all about it. I also like his mom, where his mom is like, hey, I'll die if
Yeah.
I eat solid food, and he's like, bet, do it,
And
do
she's
it
like,
then.
yeah, all
Yeah,
right
all
then.
right, fine. Okay.
I do still have the worries of post loop. I do still think that post loop is kind of repetitive, somewhat gratuitous with its.
Yes.
I unintentionally made a good analogy in my Discord the other day where I said that this feels like what would happen if some people got what they wanted and MHA had a volume for every student.
Yes, that's a pretty good comparison.
Yeah,
I find the power system in this a lot more interesting than MHA's,
of
so like
course, of
it
course.
doesn't bother me as much. Not that
Hmm.
quirks are really all that bad, but like the whole like your power changes based on your perception of what it means, I think is really cool.
I feel like
Um,
Undead Unluck's power system was probably one of my favorites in Jump.
it's one of the best ones in Jump in my
Yeah.
opinion. Yeah. Um, and so like learning more about these individuals is more acceptable to me because I find it very interesting to learn about them.
Hmm.
Whereas a
Hmm.
lot of characters in other series, like, dude, I don't give a shit about the Tape Kid. I don't give a shit about Miwa. Like, I don't need more information about these guys. And with Undead Unluck, I kind of want it, so I don't feel quite as bad about it. But you're definitely right that it's really just becoming like, hey, here's a character. Remember him? Here's his sad backstory. All right, here's the
Yeah,
next one.
it,
Remember him?
it
Here's his sad backstory.
it's almost as if like the author heard the criticisms, like especially with like the Billy stuff, where I don't know these people, like because when the Billy thing first got revealed, a lot of people were like, "Who? Like, who
Yeah,
is this?"
yeah,
Um, and I that didn't let up that much because Undead Unluck pre-loop was like the pedal was to the metal the whole time, and it was fantastic, but still. Um, and now the author's like, okay, I should make these characters, and now we're spending it feels like an excessive amount of time on every single one of them individually,
yes. Like,
and not
did the
all of them
ramen
are created
guy
equal.
really need 2 chapters? I don't know. I didn't hate it, but I can definitely see the
Phil did
argument.
not need
No,
as many as you got.
Phil didn't need 8 chapters at all. That shit was awful. And I definitely see the argument of like, there's a lot of characters where this just isn't necessary. Like Rip, yes, you want it with him.
That shit was great.
That shit was great, absolutely. Shit,
Billy was
why am I
fine.
Billy was good. I'm blanking on
Chikara?
the Chinese siblings.
Oh,
Um,
Shen?
Shen, yeah. He needed it. Like that was I enjoyed that with him, seeing him again because he was a big fan favorite in the early portion. Um, and Chikara's I thought was good too because it was just like taking who was because Chikara's the most like I'm a normal dude of everybody in that group. So
Yeah.
it was neat to get him back too. Did we need that many chapters for the kid in space? No. Did we need even like I guess the ramen thing was only like 2 or 3 chapters, so it's not that bad. But I definitely get the criticism of like I'm ready to be done
This stuff could have been
collecting.
trimmed down, I feel like.
Yeah, we're like collecting characters like Pokemon cards, and I'm ready to
We
move on.
had
But
we had the void stuff, which like the boxing stuff was cool, but like it was more novel because it was first happening, and now that we're like fucking 6 characters deep, and we're probably about to it seems like we're about to have a change of pace because now we're going to the sun, which is cool.
yeah,
We might
I really
we
want
might
to
be
see what
done.
happens on the sun. Like that's gonna be rad.
Andy retrieval is the one retrieval we've all been waiting for.
Yes, the retrieval arc that actually is
Yes,
gonna be peak.
yes.
The Andy retrieval arc. All right. Next up, we've got Chainsaw Man.
Dude, these chapters blow by so fast. They
Yes,
feel so short.
yes. This one especially. I assume just because
Yeah,
like it was pretty shocking subject matter,
yeah.
and there wasn't like a ton of dialogue. It was just kind of like Denji looking around and realizing
I
like,
really,
oh, I
yeah.
regret my decisions. Um,
I really liked the previous chapter where Naruto was like, humans are easy to kill. And then she was like, "What are you teaching her?" And Denji was like, "Whatever's on TV. I don't know."
yeah.
That was good. That was a good bit. Um, I was kind of surprised by Naruto's like instant readiness to betray humanity, and then Denji was like, "Well, I don't want to do that," and she was like, "Okay." That's
Yeah, and I like the bit of just kind of like him thinking about, oh, I have everything that I wanted, and
mm-hmm.
now
Yeah.
I'm not happy, right? I want to go back to the way that things were before. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and then the fucked up bit at the end where they light his house on fire to kill all of his dogs, pretty messed up.
Yeah.
Um, and I assume he's going to go Chainsaw Man next week because we got a devil transforming right here,
Mm-hmm.
and attacking them all. I mean, it looks to me like on page 13 he pulled for it, right?
He did. I'm pretty
He's
sure,
he's
yeah.
clutching
And
his
then
chest, which looks to me like he's pulling for the ripcord.
yeah,
And then he stops when the guy starts getting shot.
yeah.
Um, so I think we're gonna
Um,
see Chainsaw Man back now, which I'm looking forward to.
I mean, I think it's pretty clear at this point that Chainsaw Man Part 2 is a lot about identity, especially for Denji, who got fucked over quite a few times, some might say, in Part 1. And now is just kind of left to find out what he wants to be. Um, and now, obviously, he's like, well, I do want to be Chainsaw Man, you know? Like, that's hashtag who I am. Um, I think that's interesting. There's obviously, you could probably make the same argument for Asa. I need to reread Part 1 and 2 at some point.
Yeah,
Because my
Chainsaw Man I feel like is one of those things that when you go back through and just binge it all again, you're like, damn,
yeah,
that was quality.
especially now that like the big twist has happened, I feel like a reread would be. I think I said this when the twist happened, but a big twist would be, or after the big twist, a reread would be really nice right now.
Hmm.
I don't have the time though, so I don't know if I'll do it.
Yeah, it's one of those things where like, when are you gonna find the time to? I mean, it's what like 150 total chapters now. It's a lot.
I'll just wait for the anime for part 2. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
Oh God, dude, the internet's gonna explode when the next anime season comes out. I'm so tired of listening to people complain about season one. I like Chainsaw Man season one. Bite me. Like I don't know what you want me to tell you.
I I I enjoyed it, but I was not a fan of the art style. I thought it was very
I
muted
kind
and
of liked
boring.
it. I kind of liked how muted it was because Chainsaw Man's world fucking sucks. Um, and I think having the overtop silly characters on top of that muted, miserable background was kind of like, not glorifying how terrible the world was. I kind of liked it. I kind of put a tone to it.
I just thought it looked so boring.
Yeah, I mean, I think it kind of did, but I think that it worked into what I liked about it. Was like everything sucks all the time for all of these people, and they live in a shitty hellscape.
Also,
Um,
fuck Mappa.
well, yeah, okay, yes, yes, Parish Mappa, but otherwise,
Yes.
I liked it. I don't know that I would have liked it as much if it was like bright and colorful and shit was going off like colored. Like if it
Dude,
looked like JoJo, I would probably not like it as much as
I
I
would have
as
been
I
I
did.
would have been twerking, dude. My desk would have been flopping around, dude. It would have been crazy.
All right, I respect that. But no, this chapter was a banger. I'm excited to see Chainsaw Man again. I hate this guy. Talk about making a dude really hateable really quickly. This dude. I don't even remember his name. The president guy. Fuck that guy.
Yeah, I'm sorry, viewers. We're not very good at remembering names. We read too many
No,
fucking things
dude.
to remember all these names.
Dude, I can't even remember names in the
You don't
language
even
that
remember
I
my name,
speak.
bro.
I don't. I have to. Do you know that I still, to this day, because I do the exact same intro that I did when
Do you say
Oceans was on the
Ocean?
show? No, I don't say it out loud, but in my
Oh.
head, sometimes I have to remind myself, like, don't do the old intro. Because I didn't change it at all. So in my brain, I
Yeah.
did that one for like 2.5 years. So I just didn't, like,
Yeah, you
it
have to
doesn't
have Discord
process.
open to remember who I am, and then you realize
Yeah.
that my name on Discord is an Asa, and you're like, oh, fuck.
Well, it is because of the Shonen and Chill server, because that's your name in
Oh,
there.
okay,
Yeah,
so you got that tab open. I
yeah,
see.
yeah. Well, no, because it says at the top, it says your Discord name, then it says
Oh,
AKA
yeah, that's
Azra.
right.
Yeah, yeah. So it bails me out.
Yeah,
It
okay.
bails me out a little
Okay.
bit, but
I'm gonna
no,
change my Shonen and Chill Discord name then to see if you can remember who I am.
no, I've gotten a little better at it recently. It's like the past
Okay.
month I've been pretty good at
I mean, I'm really good at remembering names in real life, but like these character names, oh,
I'm
dude,
not,
some of
dude.
them.
I'm so bad at remembering names. I'm just like awful. I'm. You could meet me 3 times, and if I don't talk to you other than those 3 times, I have no idea who you are. Like,
Like when I'm reading like fucking way too many series in this magazine, I'm not gonna remember them all. It's too hard.
yeah, and again, like Japanese names are like very, very similar a lot of the time. Like,
I also have to have all the space in my brain for random World of Warcraft mobs and items and drops and stuff. So like I don't
yeah,
know, I
see, like,
can't.
yeah, there's no space.
Yeah.
I need to have room in my brain for the next series that we're going to talk about because it's the GOAT, which is Kagurabachi.
Oh my god, it's number one.
Dude, this chapter banged. It was so good.
So last week, Chihiro woke up and the first thing he thought of was Char's disembodied leg. And like that was some straight up airy shit that chapter, dude. Good
Yes,
lord.
yes,
That was brutal.
yeah. And they're like, cutting her up and like using her
Yeah.
for then letting her heal over and over.
I really
Uh,
love how humanized he's become after that first. Like I really like him as a main character.
yes, I like him a lot.
Yeah.
I like him quite a bit.
I also
He,
liked the twist on like, oh, you're injured, so you're gonna have to stay here while we do everything, and you're gonna have to do like some lower stakes thing. But they were like, well, you're injured, but also you're kind of a fucking freak and a weirdo, so I guess you could just come anyway.
yeah, they're like, you're gonna go anyway. Like, we're gonna tell you
Yeah.
not to, but you're still gonna do it. So you might as well
Yeah.
go rescue the little girl, while we do all of the big things.
Also,
Um,
in this week's chapter, he said something about his left arm already being bad. Did we know that before, or am I misremembering, or is that news to us?
I don't know. I don't
Because
remember.
I read that and I was like, oh, it is?
Maybe it's just from. I mean, it is more bandaged up. Maybe it's just.
Well, he meant that like, or I think he said something like, my left arm has always been bad, so like it's not a
Well,
big
yeah,
deal.
he says it hurts, but I can move. My left arm was already bad. Um,
Okay, yeah, maybe I just read it wrong.
or they're like there's something wrong with it because that would be his non-dominant hand, where that's like not his sword
Yeah,
hand. So
yeah. So he's like, yeah,
um,
fuck that thing, I don't need it.
yeah, I don't
I
know.
can't swing a sword. I don't need that arm.
Yeah, whatever. Fuck this arm. Well, is it? That's also the side where his scar is, right? So maybe he had an injury
Maybe, yeah,
that from something else. Because that's the same side of all of his facial scars.
yeah, maybe.
Um, Also the scene where they jump Sojo, so good, so
I
good.
know, man.
That shit was so raw. Um, I really like the bit where he's in the bath and he's like, he reminds me of like a Twitter user. The dude's like, there's definitely an overwhelming amount of evidence that this kid is his son. However, I dislike that
I
conclusion.
do.
Therefore,
Yeah,
it is
fuck him.
wrong. Yeah.
Yeah. He's a
It's
cool
great.
villain, man. I'm excited. I'm excited
Yeah,
to see more of him.
I really like him.
Um, so that panel of him standing at the end of the hallway, just like with that dead dude, that was so hard. You know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't. Which one are we talking about?
At the end of the chapter of the recent chapter,
Oh,
where like,
Chihiro. Yeah, yeah. I thought you meant Sojo.
yeah,
Yeah,
no,
no,
no, no, no,
dude.
no, no.
This whole sequence is sick, where he's just standing there, and
Yeah,
then after the phone rings, and then the page turn, and all of them are dead except for the one guy, and he's sitting at the
yeah.
table. Goes
Oh,
so hard.
he's so cool.
He's so cool. And then like the reveal of the goldfish just like swimming through the air before you see him,
Yeah, that was
and they all
so
follow
cool,
the
dude.
goldfish and look up, and he's standing at the end of the. Oh, dude,
Oh,
it's it's so sick.
this shit is gas, bro.
It's absolute. It's fire. Complete
If you
fire.
if you're in 2023 and you're not reading Kagurabachi, you're not living right, dude.
For real. Like I don't really like. I don't know how you could look at something like Shadow Eliminators or Nue and be like, this bangs, and then look at Kagurabachi and be like, boo. Like this is so sick, and
It's
it's
really
got
good.
interesting characters, good plot. It's fire. It's just absolute
My
fire.
only complaint is that some of the characters can look samey.
Yeah, that they do have kind of a little bit
Same
of
face
same face
syndrome.
syndrome. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Um, but it doesn't bother me too much.
Yeah.
And also, I
It's
think
just
that
a
the
minor
characters
thing.
that even though they do kind of have samey faces, they're visually
Mhm.
striking in other ways. Like Soja's outfit is super unique and cool
Mhm.
looking, and he's like, I like the way they draw his like nasty ratty ass hair. Like he's
Yeah.
great. Also, dude's about to fight this entire team, designed specifically to kill him. That's so raw.
Dude, are they all gonna job?
I don't know. I don't know. Um,
I think it'd be a little lame if they all jobbed.
I think so too. Um, but I don't know how you have him not job because there's so many. Like I guess he could just get away.
Yeah, he could defeat some and then escape or something.
Yeah, or he just like manages to use Cloud
Yeah.
Gouger because he can make like ice walls or whatever to defend himself
Yeah.
with. I don't
And
think he's gonna kill this
but
whole crew.
in this context by job, I mean he like kills all of them just for
Yes, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, definitely. I would hope he doesn't kill them all because if he kills them all, it makes it a little hard of a sell for me to be like, oh, um, Chihiro's
Oh,
totally gonna win. Like,
yeah, this guy's beatable.
yeah, yeah. If he smashes this team of sorcerers handpicked to beat him, That would be very raw, but very like I don't
Silly.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially an injured Chihiro. Like if Chihiro turns around and mops this dude right after the fact, I would be very surprised.
Yeah. Wouldn't be
But
great.
I also think the fight will probably take a while because I have a feeling we're going to be going between the fight and the rescue mission at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I am very hopeful that it handles it. It's handled everything else well so far. I've been into all of it.
Yeah.
Um, dude, that last panel of him just sitting at the table with
He's
those two
so
dudes
cool,
there, he's
man.
so sick.
He's so cool.
Ah, what a goat. What a
What a
fucking
go.
goat.
What's
Goated
on the
series.
agenda? What else have we got?
All right, so next up we have all right, so now we're done with the actual series. Just gonna be chatting a little bit about some of the other stuff. We've both been in gaming comas, so we aren't too
Yeah, sorry. I'm
tuned
actually
into the
playing World of Warcraft
pulse.
as we speak.
There you go. So yeah, I'm taking a break from Spider-Man for a little bit for this. So we're not super tuned into the pulse of everything silly that's been going on, but a couple things. Mama Yu got a cover. Um,
Oh, it did?
yes, that's what I saw on Twitter. I don't know if it was right,
Ooh.
but that Mama Yu got a and is or it's getting an upcoming cover, I guess I should say. Um, which seems to dictate it's doing better than people seem to think, which leads me to believe that a lot of all of this like theory crafting behind what all this stuff means just means fucking nothing. Like,
Yeah, it's probably waste
oh,
of time.
it's terrible in the table of contents. It's gonna die for sure, but now it's getting the
I
cover of the magazine. Like,
I do
dude,
think some people overrate TOC placements.
I think so too. I think the only TOC placement that really matters is like bottom two consistently.
Maybe, yeah.
Like not just once, but like if you're always down there, I think it
Hmm.
matters. Um,
I mean, I've even seen times where MHA gets like back half of the magazine. Doesn't mean MHA is getting canceled. There's probably
yeah,
something else going
yeah,
on. I don't know.
yeah, and I don't know the criteria that goes into the selection of that. It's not like
Yeah, we
Jujutsu
don't work
Kaisen
there,
is the
believe it or not.
beginning of the book every week, you know.
Yeah,
Um, so I don't know. I'm sure some people say that they know it. I'm sure that ultimately nobody actually knows what goes into like
yeah,
that final decision making process. Um, Also, a weird amount of downplay for Kagurabachi in that as well, because people will be like, "Oh, this series barely got out of the bottom five," which is like, what do you mean barely got out of? That's like there's like 10 series. That means it's in like close to the
dude.
upper half. I would, and then
They hate to see a bad bitch thrive. I don't know what to say.
that's exactly what it is. They hate to see a goat fighting
Yeah,
with purpose. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's just weird, and I don't really think that anyone try. I think people make too much of a fuss about trying to predict what's going to happen in this
yeah.
stuff. Like, you know, no, a lot of people will hindsight be like, "Oh, Phantom Seer was obviously going to get canceled," but a lot of people were pretty blindsided when that happened. There's some stuff where you can obviously tell, right, that it's just
Hmm.
it's not gonna make it. Like, I think Two on Ice fits that criteria
Ice
pretty
head
well.
Gil.
Icehead Gill, I think, fits that criteria perfectly.
Yeah.
There's some ones that you can just tell that like the odds of this making it are pretty low.
Hmm.
And then as weeks go on, you're like, this is definitely, once you start getting that volume one sales data, you have like Fabricant, you can be like, okay, this is not gonna, it's not gonna stay.
Why would you
Um,
say that?
Listen, if I have to suffer, so do you. But um, I think
No.
but there's a point where like you're trying too hard, you know. Mama Yu
Yeah.
Yu is on like chapter 9 or some shit, like what chapter 13. Okay, so chapter 13 with Mama Yu Yu, and people are trying to determine whether or not it's like, oh, it's for sure gonna get canceled. Oh, actually, it's the next goat. It's like, dude, stop. It's 13 chapters
I
in.
mean, I don't think there's an inherent issue with like trying to find like just like theory crafting. Oh, this might get axed, so on and so forth. But I do think that the discussion of axing takes away the discussion of what the series has to offer, like almost every time as well.
Yes, there's a weird air around shonen series, especially.
Dude, like every time I tried to talk about Fabricant anywhere, it was like, oh, is it gonna get axed? Like, dude, just fucking
Just
read
fucking read
it.
it anyway. And then like it's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy because you'll see people say stuff like, "Oh, I'm not gonna touch this series until I know it's not gonna get axed." It's like, okay, well now you're not reading it, so now you're not helping it not to get axed. So like, if you like a
Yeah.
series, just read it and enjoy it, because
If it
even
gets
a series
axed,
that
it gets axed, man.
yeah, I think that it ending early does not inherently make it a bad experience to
Yeah.
to read and enjoy. Like Time Paradox Ghost Rider. I really like that series. It got axed in 12 chapters.
Damn.
I still think it's pretty good. The early bits of Earthchild, I think, are really good before it goes to shit trying to save itself from getting axed. But the beginning portion goes crazy. It's super good, and then it just kind of falls off and wants to not get axed and it becomes bad. But like something falling off doesn't inherently make it bad. Something that doesn't get to live is not inherently a problem or bad in its face. I think you can find
Mm-hmm.
a lot of value in anything that you choose to engage with. And it's weird to me how many people are like, I will not engage with any of these series at all until like 70 chapters in, so I
Yeah.
know that they're
Uh,
okay.
like obviously we're gonna talk about axes sometimes because we are a Shonen Jump podcast for better or for worse. So like we'll speculate at times, but
Yeah,
like we're
sure.
still reading them.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's more forgivable to be doing that when you're engaging with them on a weekly release basis.
Mhm.
Whereas, like, if you're sitting there saying, "Oh, I'm looking at the numbers for this series, never read it in my life, but it doesn't look promising enough for me to pick it up," it's like, what are you talking about? What's wrong
And
with you?
really, the only two series that we really like got into the nitty gritty about axes with were Fabricant and Tenmaku. Fabricant because I was a Fabricant fucker, and Tenmaku because we both enjoyed the start of Tenmaku, and then it just kind of
It just never went
did
anywhere.
nothing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Like you can see us breaking down the analysis on Icehead Gill. Like it is what it is at the end of the day when it comes to this kind
Yeah.
of thing. But it's just weird to me that people will refuse to support a series, thereby contributing to its low numbers.
Yeah. Just read.
Yeah, dude, these chapters are 19 pages long. Like, suck it up, suck it up and read it, dude. It's not that hard. And if you read it and you decide you don't like it, then don't keep reading it. Like that, that's the point, right? Is that like
Yeah.
if you read it and you don't like it, and a lot of people read it and a lot of people don't like it, it's not going to get picked up. But it
Hmm.
sucks to see people be like, I'm not going to support it unless I already know it's safe, because that's like the dumbest thing I've ever heard. The series that aren't safe are the ones that need your support the most.
Yeah. Everyone who watches this podcast and didn't go out and buy a Fabricant 100 volume from Japan has failed me personally on like a personal level.
Everybody in the Discord right now, post your receipts of
Post your
Volume 1 of
Fabricant,
Fabricate
post your
100.
Fabricant 100 Japanese volume tonight, or there's a purge, okay?
I want it on my desk by 8 a.m. tomorrow morning.
No pressure though.
Yeah, no worries, no worries. All right. So the next we have, I wanted to talk about how much Nui's Exorcist fucking sucks ass.
It's might be the worst manga of all time.
It's it's a disaster. It's like just the worst shit ever. Like, dude,
You know what makes it worse is that these past couple of chapters before this episode were like, they're okay.
this
And
last
then we get
chapter I
introduced.
thought was
Oh
great.
my.
I thought it was awesome. These two that they're like kind of just naturally falling back into the dynamic that they had because they're still a family. Awesome. And then they end the fucking chapter by going, "Oh my god, they're not blood related." I want to, dude. Oh my god.
I can't take this
This
Coomer
is
shit no more,
so
man.
bad. Dude, nothing is funnier ever in the history of anything than that one guy who was like, if you don't like Nue's Exorcist, you just don't understand Coomer culture. Dead
Good.
serious. This dude is like
Yeah,
dead serious. Like,
I
you don't
saw that. Yeah.
understand loser culture. Otaku. This is
Yeah,
a love letter
otaku,
to
which is a
otaku
otaku
culture.
is a derogatory
It's a
word, by the way.
derogatory term. Yeah, it's a bad thing. It's not a. That's not like a goal to be. It's a bad thing. Um, I I hate this series, dude. It's so constantly doing some stuff where I'm like, oh wait a minute, now we might have something here. And then it's like, oh, by the way, this guy might kiss on his sister a little bit. And I'm like, all right, get out,
I'm
get
so
out.
tired of this. I'm so tired of this series. I can't. I can't do
I
it.
don't understand why every single time there is a female character on the screen, someone has to go, hey, what if this absolute worthless loser actually had sex with this person? Like, who cares? Stop, dude.
Uh,
Also, they're like 16. Stop.
I. It's like everyone. It's everyone wants to fuck him, and I don't understand.
Everyone wants to fuck him for reasons that I don't know because he's useless. He's completely worthless in every way except like he tries good sometimes at things. Like not even all the time, just some of the time. He tries a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just he's the worst MC in the book right now. Every other character in his
Yes.
story is more interesting than he is.
Yes.
Um, every time.
Yes.
I actually really like the sister character. I think she's cool. I like her whole thing about, like being pissed off about why their dad died, and they have a different outlook on it, and
No,
she
yeah,
was
that's what sucks is that like Gakuro was like starting to cook, and by cook I mean he was like put in a
having
microwave
a
for 5
character
seconds.
trait. Yeah, any
Yeah.
character at all to him. Yeah. And then we had to end it with, oh no, they're not blood related. Like that makes it better. Like
It's so
it's so bad. It's
ass.
so ass. Just disaster class fiction, dude. Abyss fiction.
But I can't look away. I have to
Yeah,
keep seeing how bad it
it
gets.
it pisses me off because I'll read it every couple weeks and then finally I'll be like, okay, okay, finally we've moved away from this. I keep thinking it's gonna Undead Unluck. I keep thinking it's going to be like, oh, we've done enough now, right? We've coomed hard enough. Like everyone's
Yeah.
finished looking at their panties under their skirts and stuff. We made it.
Mhm.
Enough people are here. We're not getting. And it never does. It never is like it's time to move on. It always keeps, no matter how good the quality of the chapter is, no matter how good the character writing is, you know that it's always going to end with someone being like, oh, but I don't want to. What if I have sex with him?
I I I remember talking to you. I went through New Way Twit a little bit ago, and it was exclusively people not talking about what the series has to offer. It was exclusively people being victims. Like it was all people being like nobody understands New Way. It's actually the best fucking series in the magazine, and you know, otaku culture, so on and so forth. Some other dumb shit probably. It's like MHA Twit. They except like at least MHA is a series that exists, and that doesn't make me want to. Well, I can't say that. Never mind. Um, it's just like it's the entire community is just people playing victim about people not liking New Way's Exorcist.
Yeah, dude, I don't know. I just don't see any value in whatever is going on. Like, who gives a shit about any of this? Some people do. Friggin' One
Yeah,
Smart was in there like defending it to me. Like, oh, actually, the weird stepsister, what are you doing, stepbrother thing is only one character. It's the series isn't talking about it, but like that's the same thing.
it is the same thing
That's a
actually. It's
character
the
in the
same
story
reason.
talking about it.
It's the same reason why we called Yozakuro cringe when Kyoichiro was doing it, and now there's two of them.
Yeah, like, dude, like, that's the same thing.
Yeah,
And it's crazy. I don't know, man. I don't get it. I don't get it. I'm sure there's something in here that has to be redeeming about this because a lot of people seem to like it. But I really hope what it is that they like about it isn't I am also a hapless loser, so it makes me feel
that's.
good to watch this hapless loser get bitches. Like
I'm not going to say that's everyone who reads it because that's not true. It's probably like 75% though.
it has to like it's got to be a sizable chunk of the people who
It's Coomer
like
shit,
enjoy it.
man.
It is just Coomer shit. Like
It's Coomer shit all the way down in Weekly Shonen Jump, bro.
it's just Coomer shit. It always was.
It always
I
was, buddy.
I don't know, man. It's so ass. That's all I have to say about it is that it's so ass.
It's really, 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 really bad.
Just in the absolute fucking gutter. It's so
Yeah.
ass. And
Great series though. I like it.
yeah, yeah, monstrous stuff here.
Damn.
Yeah,
Undead Unluck got shit on New Age Exorcist, bro.
please,
Sorry.
please. Oh man. All right, I guess that's it. I don't know. I could rant about how much I hate New Age Exorcist for like hours, so I'm gonna
Yeah.
save everybody the struggle. So that we'll catch you guys in the next one.